Hello friends, welcome back to another video in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Today we are going to review a recently released aircraft. You are seeing it in the background and I am a little bit late to the party, but I'd like to do it this way just to test the aircraft and see it for myself before attempting to record a video, so that's why it's coming right now. But we have the FlightFX Vision Jet SF50 and that's what we are going to review today. We are at Belfast, very cold British morning here in UK, and we will be departing from Belfast to Edinburgh, and that will be a short flight that we are going to do today with the Vision Jet SF50. Before we jump into the cockpit, we will take a look at the exterior model, and then we'll take a look at the interior of the aircraft, and then discuss the avionics and start the aircraft, program our flight, hopefully push back, and then be on our way. I am gonna try to keep this video as short and down to the point as possibly I can, and I'll see you in the cockpit. Alright, we are in the cockpit of the Vision Jet, and we'll take a look around in the cockpit, take a look at the 3D modeling and the texturing quality of the aircraft. I'm pretty sure you have seen other videos, but this aircraft's 3D model is very nicely done. All the textures are looking great. We'll take a look at the cockpit. The circuit breakers, they are not modeled, but the texture looks crisp, easily readable. The flight control stick, engine control switch and knob, all the units, the avionics, and this aircraft is equipped with Garmin G3000. This is not the default Asobo G3000, this is a modified version of the working title G3000. The autopilot panel down here, 3 touch screens to control our screens, and then the number of buttons here to control various aircraft systems, gear lever, barometric pressure setting, display backup switch, the brightness knob for the displays, and then a scroll wheel for the checklist, 2 headphones, overhead, nothing is modeled here, they are just visual, no functionality. The lights do work. Oxygen masks for pilot and the co-pilot, they are also not clickable. The cabs system is not modeled. The selling point for the Vision Jet is this cabs where it deploys a parachute in the event of an engine problem, and if the aircraft is not recoverable, you just pull the handle down and a parachute is launched through the nose and then lands the aircraft safely instead of crashing. There's also this emergency safe return home function, which is not modeled, but when you press this, the aircraft takes over and flies to the nearest airport and lands itself in the event of a pilot issue, or if the pilot is not able to fly the aircraft, or something happened. That is what is done in real life. Over on this side, co-pilot side, all the temperature knobs, everything is nicely modeled and textured. Attention to detail is very high in this cockpit. Even the back seats, you can get very different configurations. Number of configurations you can get in this aircraft, from family to executive. I think we are in the executive configuration today. We don't have any third row seats. We have 2 seats at the back. The seats are modeled very nice. The overhead looks great. A lot of nice details around, even if this is a small cockpit and cabin. In the back you can get 3 additional seats here if you want, and the seats are meant to be removed in this aircraft to reduce the weight. They don't have to stay inside the aircraft if you don't need them, but everything around this cabin is nicely done. I can't complain about this texture quality. The door can be opened. We have the cover right now, but this handle opens the door, and we'll take a look at that when we go outside. I don't want to power the aircraft on just to operate the VAMS, Visual Aircraft Maintenance System, in the displays to remove the covers and chocks. But what I will do is I will simply go outside now to the drone camera. And sorry, I need to slow the camera down a little bit. It's too fast to go around the aircraft, so maybe bring it down to 3% speed. Get it down a little bit. This is much better. Turn around. And I have programmed a button to open the door on my controller, and when I open it, the cover disappears. So we will do just that today. There you go. That's the door opening. And we'll take a look at the exterior model of this aircraft while we are here. Starting with the nose, all the details, all the rivets, screws, panels, very nicely done. And I am amazed with the texturing quality of this aircraft. Like, look at that. You get close, everything is super nice and readable. Nose wheel light is there, and the gear bay, look at that. This is very detailed actually, and very nicely done. No complaints here, even if you don't see this part of the aircraft while flying. They have spent some time to make it right. The statics elements and the covers around, they are also nice. Wing looks great. Look at that landing light and the position lights or nav lights. They are looking great too. If I go over here, again, texturing is done very nicely to a high standard. Even over here, the emergency exit, it's done very nicely. Engine covers, engine cowling, all the panels and the screws around the engine, and the statics like the covers, they are done very nicely. All the static ports. It's just very nice 3D model. It's really pleasing to look at. And even the landing gear down here, look at the detail. They have spent quite some time to actually model this thing, and they have done a decent job. So really nice 3D model, really pleasing to look at. The static wigs over there at the stabilizer, looking great. That's, I believe, the tail light, engine, exhaust, or yeah, I think that's exhaust, right? Very nice 3D model. You can also open the cargo compartment. Right now we don't have anything, but we will come back to here and take a look at this because we have a couple different configurations to set when we are flying with this aircraft. So let's hop back into the cockpit and let's talk about the startup procedure. It's very easy. As you can guess, this is like a flying iPad, all screens and touch buttons. So it's very easy to operate, and I think it's a smart aircraft, if that's the term to use. But we will start with turning the battery power on, these two switches right here. That will give us battery power, and the screens will come to life. Again, this is working titles G3000, modified by the developer. And when we see the screens, when everything is initialized, we see an initialization screen that we need to complete before getting into flight planning and whatnot. So we will go ahead and do that. We'll check the database status. That all checks. Database is effective. Navigraph charts are available. I linked my Navigraph account, so you have to have a Navigraph subscription to use Navigraph. System tests. This is fire and stall test that the aircraft completes automatically. Fire warning displayed here too, so that test is complete. And then stall, warning. Yep, everything is done. So that's the system tests. Initial fuel, I think we are going to need, let me check here. I think we are going to need 350 kilograms on each tank for today's flight, or 300 kilograms, I'm sorry. So that is close enough. Let's do this. 67% fuel, I think this should be enough to get us to Edinburgh. And we'll go to the initial fuel and we will sink the fuel on board, 200 gallons. Great. Next up, we go to the weight and balance. We don't have a co-pilot today, so we will remove that. And then we'll put a 160 pound passenger to the left seat and 180 pound passenger to the right seat. That's done. And we will take, I don't know, what, 75 pounds of luggage, right? And we'll go back, that should do it. And then flight plan. All you need to do here is add the origin and destination, and you can complete your initialization and do the rest of the flight plan later. So we'll add the origin, Echo Golf Alpha Charlie. And then our destination is Echo Golf Papa Hotel. Done. And then checks, accept initialization. Okay, let's talk about a couple things here. VAMS, Visual Aircraft Maintenance System, that's what it stands for. As you see, I have removed the storage cover when opening the door, but it still thinks it is on, so I will click that to remove it off. And one maybe future request for this, it is a little bit unrealistic to be sitting in the aircraft and having the storage cover on. I think it might be a lot more better if there's a way to set your cold and dark setup, whether you want the cover or not, and maybe a way to remove it before entering the aircraft might make it a little bit more realistic. So that's my opinion there. We will remove the engine covers and protectors too, because we will be starting the engines shortly. And then we will, luggage door is open and we have some luggage options here. So family vacation, golf trip, snowboarding trip. So let's say we are going for a golf trip. If we go outside, now we have a golf bag in the cargo compartment. If it's a family vacation, now we have some luggage in there. If it's a snowboarding trip, you'll see a snowboard and a duffel bag, but we will do family vacation. And then we'll come to this after starting the engines and talk about the rest. Right now we need to go and plan our flight. The QNH at Belfast right now is 1008, so we'll set that. We will check this later, but I think it's correct, 20 feet airport elevation. We don't have a SID today, we have a direct departure to Maggie. So we will add an en route waypoint and then MAGEE, enter. The next one is Blacka. And from Blacka, we are going to enter an airway, load airway P600, and we are going to exit at Tanso and load this. There it is now loaded. Sometimes it's hard to catch this. And then from there, it is our arrival. So we'll go to the procedures. Our arrival is Tanso 1 Echo to runway 06. And we don't have a transition. Yes, that for the arrival, we will load this. And then our approach, we will do an ILS approach to runway 06 via Tango Lima Alpha transition. Let's load this too, and we'll see our flight plan here. So this controls the range of the map, and that looks right to me. So I'm okay with this flight plan routing. We will accept this, go back, and that's our flight plan. One thing we need to do here though is to set our altitudes if we want to use the advisory VNAV. Right now, this aircraft does not support VNAV, even if it has VNAV in real life. A working title G3000 never had VNAV, I believe, and that's part of the reason. But I'm not sure what will happen with the avionics and aircraft updates, which the first one will be released in January by Asobo and working title and Microsoft. So if that changes, maybe this aircraft will have a working VNAV too in the future. All right, so let's see here. So we are going to fly at 23,000 feet today, not too far away. So, and we are expecting to be at 23, at least before blackout. So we should be definitely at 23,000 feet by here. So we will set that. And then for our arrival at the final fix, we need to be at 4,000. If I am not mistaken, if the chart, let me see the chart real quick. Yep, that is 4,000, and that is not at the final fix, but before final fix at CI Charlie India 06, we are expecting to be at 4,000. This is necessary if you want to use VNAV calculation. That is done. And then from here, we can now start the aircraft or engines. First things first, we need to close our luggage door, which is still open. If I can grab this and move it down, luggage door is open, so close that. It is now closed. Yep. And then we can close our door, which you will see here in a second, the door animation. It is closing and latching, and it is locked now. Now we can talk about starting the engines. Okay, let's check the engine parameters here and the battery. And we can also check it from aircraft systems, electrical power. There we have it. Batteries are discharging very fast, 26.8. That's the bus voltages, essential and main buses. So we should start the engines and get some power into our batteries before we drain them too much. To start the engine, it's very easy, very simple. We'll just pull up the checklist. Pre-flight inspection complete, doors are latched, parking brake is set, battery 1, battery 2 on. Gen 1, Gen 2, these two switches, we'll turn them on now. That is on. External GPE not needed. Verify active FADEC channel is displayed below. Thrust percentage indication, FADEC channel A. This aircraft is equipped with FADEC full authority digital landing engine control. So that's a computer that controls the engine. That's checked. Next slide. Engine start. Strobe lights. It's this. Let's turn it on. CAS messages. We only have probe heat off, which is okay. We will turn the probe heat off later. Thrust lever should be idle. It's idle. That's checked as well. Brakes. We are on parking brake. We don't need to hold the brakes, but I will do as instructed. Hold. Engine knob is over here behind the yellow, behind the stick right there. We'll put it to run. And then some sounds. Now we started to hear. We'll check the fuel pump over here. You should see the fuel pump, I believe. Our aircraft systems, engine and fuel. Electric pump is on. That checks. And engine knob is also checked. Engine start, battery temperature, volts, CAS message is not displayed. No, it's not. And fuel pump on message is displayed there. Engine button. Oh, engine button. That is this button here. We will watch the engine displays. Okay, we have ITT, N2, M1 rotation, light off. We started to see oil pressure increasing, oil temperature increasing, and M1 is increasing. Starter engaged, starter disengaged now, and we assume We have a good engine start. Okay. Engine instrument, what? Yeah, engine instruments are good. Engine ice protection is not needed. Maybe we will turn engine anti-ice on while takeoff, but not right now at the gate. ECS is set. External GPU, we don't have it. Oxygen master switch, so that is this switch here. Nice sounds. That is on. Avionics initialization is complete. Caps pin is up here. Actually, caps is not modeled, but the pin was there. If you remember the pre-flight we did, or the cabin tour. Passengers are briefed. Seat belts are secured. Bleed switch is here. I'm not sure why it says max. It should say bleed here in the real aircraft. It says bleed there, so that is maybe a fix that the developer will do in the future. That is checked and turned on. And that is now complete. So, before taxi, COM and nav and GPS set. ADAS clearance, not using ATC, so set. Altimeters are set. Transponder is set, squawking 7000. Heading, initial altitude. We will initially climb to 12,000 and then climb to 23,000 from there. So let's set 12,000 for now. Okay, set. Flight controls. Let's check the flight controls. If I can turn my head, we should be able to see the wings, hopefully. I need to get a little bit different angle, I guess. But let's see if we can do it like this. Full left. Okay, full right. It's working. Full back. Can't see the elevator, so that's fine. And then right rudder, left rudder. Flight controls are free and correct. Checked. Trim. We'll set the trim to 6 for takeoff. That's in the green band, right? You see right here. Flaps, we'll set the flaps to 50% and flaps set to 50, indicating 50. That's done. Electric roll trim. I'm not sure where this button is, but I'm gonna assume it's set because I looked everywhere, couldn't find the electric roll trim. There's the pitch trim, but I'm not sure where the roll trim is. Is it this? No, it's not that. And I didn't see anything at the back of the pedestal regarding a roll trim or anything like that, so I'm not sure. That's the emergency gear drop handle. ECS, we will enable the ECS. This is the heating, etc. We will set the temperature and leave it at auto because we will need some air. It's cold right now. That's set. Toga button, that's here. Press, that's pressed now. CAS messages are checked. Probe heat will be on here in a second. Seats in upright position. And parking brake release and brakes checked. So that is the pre-taxi. We are ready to go and taxi to our departure runway, which is going to be runway 22 today. Yep, okay. So let's see if we need pushback or if we can just turn around. I think we can turn around if we do a left turn. Before we leave, we come back to the ramps and then put the headphones on. I wish there was a different way of doing this instead of here. Statics, chocks, we will remove the chocks and we are ready to go. Parking brake released. Add a little bit of throttle. This aircraft takes some time to get moving, but it will eventually. Hopefully, we will not hit to that ground equipment right there or the doors. I'm trying to make this turn without squeezing the brakes too much. So in real life, you won't do this, by the way, guys. I'm just trying to make it easy instead of calling a pushback tug. Okay, that's it. And we will go follow this taxiway. Cut the throttles down to 10%. I find it that 10% is a really good taxi thrust setting in this aircraft. You don't go very fast and you don't go very slow. It just is enough to get this aircraft rolling on the ground. And that's my personal preference for taxi. There is 10%. I was trying to set it at the same time. And if you notice, we are getting some icing on the windshield, so we will turn the windshield heat on, engine anti-ice on, because looks like we are in icing conditions. Alright, probe heat, we will turn it on now. We can wait until we get to the runway, but I think it won't be necessary. It's quite cold out there and we should be fine by turning the probe heat on. We can backtrack on the runway, but this is a very fast aircraft. I think we will be able to take off from here, like an intersection takeoff. We'll make this left turn slightly. But that's steep. That almost ate up all the speed we had on the ground, but well, that's runway 0422. We are passing into the hold short area. Let's give her a little bit of power and then bring it down again. Alright, now what else? We need to turn the landing lights on. Landing lights are on. Engine anti-ice on. We are probably not going to need airframe anti-ice. We can turn the ice light on just to check our wings, and we will line up here and be on our way. Okay, before takeoff checklist. Departure briefing complete. Landing lights on. Probe heat on. Engine IPS switch on. Wing step ice protection not required. CAS messages none. Trim is set to 6%. Flaps indicating 50 set 50. Alright, takeoff emergency battery CAS message is not displayed. And we will line up and finish the checklist. MFD configured. And we need a little bit of power to line up. Okay, that's better. And you see flaps ice. Now we need to turn the airframe anti-ice system on before takeoff. We are definitely in icing conditions. Brakes hold. We will move the thrust to takeoff. Check the engine instruments. Release the brakes at 85 knots indicated airspeed. We will rotate and follow a 5-degree pitch attitude. Retract the landing gear, and passing 115 knots we will clear the flaps and set the aircraft for climb. So that's the plan. So holding the brakes, increasing the power to take off. Alright, takeoff thrust is set, engine parameters are looking normal, brakes released, and off we go. Okay, a little bit forward pressure on the stick. Airspeed alive. 70 knots. Release the pressure. 85. Pull back. She is very heavy on the controller. Okay, gear is coming up. Lowering the nose, following the flight director now. Passing 115 knots, flaps are coming in, and we are on our way. We will trim our aircraft for climb, and we need to pull the throttles back because we shouldn't have takeoff power for more than 5 minutes, and then we will trim the aircraft for a nice climb. And we need to turn around now to get to our destination. So we make a left-hand turn. Keep the aircraft there. Speed is going like crazy, and we have auto throttle in this aircraft, so we can also activate the auto throttle, but that requires autopilot to engage. So we will turn like this. We are still climbing, and the weather looks very nasty, to be honest with you. Okay, so that is the turn. Come back on the throttles a little bit, manage our speed, and then we will level the wings, and we will get on our flight plan path. It's the map. Okay, we are getting there, no problems. We need to keep trimming the aircraft as the speed goes up. Alright, that is nice. And why we don't have the traffic information? Okay, map settings, traffic, operating. Wow, okay, it will operate when the transponder is on, I guess. There we go. And the traffic display works in this aircraft. We'll synchronize our heading to current heading. And while we are passing 3000, we can go ahead and activate nav, flight level change, and engage the autopilot. Now we can go to auto throttle, FMS speed, and the aircraft will climb at 165 knots, which is the best climb speed for this aircraft. We can synchronize our heading, and one good function that you have is if you think that the cockpit is too loud and you don't want to listen to it, you have active noise reduction. There we go, look at that. It is super silent now. You can try this on your own. I'm gonna keep it off just to have some cockpit voice sounds. We are passing 5000, we can go to standard pressure now. And let's see, I think we can now turn off the windshield, can stay, wing and engine anti-ice can come off. Don't think we have any more icing conditions. And there we are, look at that, out of the soup on our way to Edinburgh. Very nice. Very nice. It is a really fun little jet to fly, and it is great in VR. That's why I like this aircraft. It goes fast, climbs okay, and you know, if you like to fly a jet but don't want to deal with setting up an airliner, but rather be in the air very quickly, this could be the jet that you're looking for. It is very nice, and I enjoyed flying this little jet for the last 4 or 5 days. Very turbulent weather. As you see, we are jumping up and down, passing 7,800 feet. Oh wow. But I'll keep climbing like this and bring you guys back when we are at the cruise, ready to initiate our descent, and we'll talk about VNAV. Welcome back, friends. We just reached our cruise level, almost there. There is an aircraft in front of us. We are seeing the contrails. It is quite high though. We don't have any risks or mid-air collision. We'll go over the cruise checklist. Thrust lever is on auto. Ice protection is not required. Engine instruments, we are monitoring them. So that's cruise checklist complete. Descent. So how we are going to descend in this aircraft. We have an advisory VNAV over here. When we go to flight plan VNAV, and we can enable the advisory VNAV, and it is going to tell us a vertical speed target, vertical speed required, and a vertical deviation. According to this, we should start descending right now. As I said, this was not a long flight, so that is probably true that we need to start descending. So we need to set the altitude first, down to 4,000. We'll do that right now. And it works pretty good because we don't have to worry about cruising a lot and talking about other things. So we are deviated from that, and when we start the descent, you'll see a vertical deviation indicator in magenta color over here. So what we will do now is we are going to select vertical speed mode, and then we will set our vertical speed to the required vertical speed. So it requires 1100, we'll go 1200, or maybe we'll just do a little bit more, and the aircraft will control the throttle on its own and slow us down and keep it there. And this is an issue I ran into a couple times, because it tries to descend while getting close to the overspeed range of the speed tape. And if you don't want to do that, you can just switch to manual mode and then lower the speed yourself by going to indicated airspeed and setting your speed bug a little bit lower. That is also possible, and I like this better than the FMS calculated speed. What we will do now is we will monitor the deviation, and we haven't reached, oh we have, so yeah, we should see the vertical deviation indicator somewhere here. So let's cut the descent speed a little bit for vertical speed and get back to maybe 1100 and see what we get. Interestingly, I'm not seeing that vertical deviation indicator here, so I am not sure why, but we will see. I don't have anything different than this. And what I did was, actually in the test flight I entered the airport elevation here, and I don't think that is the reason we are not seeing it, but let's do that 136. That's the runway elevation. And interesting, yes, that was it actually, because we started to see the vertical deviation indicator right here. It is a arrow, you'll see it when we get closer to our profile. We need to descend a little bit faster to get back on profile. I'm gonna keep 1400, and that should eat up the vertical deviation and get back us on profile, and we will be descending like this. So that's what we do until we get to Edinburgh, and then we will execute the approach, and we should be fine after that. Alright, coming down very fast, passing almost 18,000. Vertical deviation is coming down nicely too, and we can also go a little bit faster or descend a little bit faster and slow the aircraft down to give ourselves a little bit time to get down and catch up to the profile. Alright, let's see here. Okay, vertical deviation is coming down very fast, so we should be back on profile very shortly. The required vertical speed is also getting less and less. That's how you descend in G3000. So descent checklist, thrust lever as required, landing field elevation is checked, ice protection not needed, altimeter transition altitude, we haven't reached that transition altitude, we will get down to 10,000 and set the altimeters, and seats LC, seat belts. So that's the descent checklist complete. Approach, we are not going to do the briefing, but we are going to do an ILS. We will descend down to 4,000 by our center fix, I believe, or that's not center fix, that's CI. That doesn't stand for center fix, but we will descend down to center fix, descend down to 4,000 at Charlie India 06, and then final fix, we will hopefully capture the glide slope into the runway. Localizer is 108.9er, so we can set that here. 108.9er is already set. Final approach course is 061. So course we have not set that yet. But course I believe is automatic in this aircraft. You don't have a way to set the course, so I will leave it alone. Vertical deviation indicator on our PFD is now visible a lot more, and we are getting on profile. How are we looking? Okay. We need to get ready to match the vertical speed required when we are on profile and descend using that. 600 feet more and then we will be on profile, and that arrow is what tells us we are on profile. So when it gets to here, to the middle, that means we are on profile. Oh, look at that. Is it snow on the ground? Looks like it, isn't it? Oh, it's a bumpy ride all the way down. It is very bumpy. We don't have very strong winds, but I'm not sure where this turbulence came from. Very interesting. Oh my gosh. Do I have sim rate enabled or something? No. It's a little bit uncomfortable here in the cockpit, seeing this up and down jumpiness. Okay. Oh, let's just reduce the vertical speed down to 1000, because now we are deviating the opposite way. So this should keep us on profile. And then now we need to worry about the speed and slowing the aircraft down as we get closer to the airport. So for now, we will keep this speed, 230 knots probably, and then see what happens when we get a little bit closer to Edinburgh. How is our deviation looking? We are looking okay. We can increase the vertical speed just a tiny bit to catch back up. Actually, we are descending faster. We need to slow the descent because the deviation indicator is going up this time. What's the vertical speed required? 800. Yep. We should be fine like this. It is a very bumpy ride, by the way, guys, I'm telling you. Even though we don't have strong winds, I'm not sure if this is FS realistic, making this a little bit unrealistic. Oh. Actually, general turbulence. Is it this? Let's turn this off and see. Oh yeah, that was that, and that was a little bit too much. Okay, better. Sure if I'm liking this. Let's just turn it off. That's a little bit unrealistic in my opinion. Alright. How are we doing? Okay, we are doing great. We are shallow the descent a little bit more to get back on profile. And what is this? Alright, I'm gonna turn off FS realistic. I have to take a look at my settings in there, but we'll keep it out of the game for today. Don't need the ice light anymore. Coming down to 10,000. And what's the barometric pressure at Edinburgh? Do I have weather? Let's see. Nope, there's something wrong there too, so we will press the B key and cheat. So that's the current METAR, still 1008. Coming down to 10,000, or passing below 10 very shortly. Lights coming on now. Landing lights are on, past below 10,000. How is the vertical speed looking? It's looking okay. We are on profile. We can descend a little bit faster, but it is not necessary. I'm just monitoring this magenta arrow, matching it with this, and we will be perfectly fine after that. And also I have to control my speed. 235 is now fine. We'll keep the speed like that. Manual, yep. Alright, everything is looking good now. We should be making a left-hand turn here in a little bit towards our final legs of the flight. And the next waypoint should be TLA, yes, and then after TLA, left turn, and it should be over here. Approach, briefing complete, seats upright, ice protection not needed, lights are on, flaps, and airspeed. We will look at those when we are there. Flaps 50, airspeed 140 knots. And then before landing, we'll take a look at that when we get there. Okay, we're making that left turn. Descent a little bit more, not the speed, just the descent, like to 600-700 feet. What was our deviation? We're looking fine. And almost there. So while I'm doing this, I will cut the video here because we have a little bit of way until we get there, and then I'll bring you guys back when we are ready to execute the approach. See you in a little bit. Right, welcome back friends. We are coming down to 4,000 and the aircraft automatically switched to the localizer. We are coming to our final fix, so we will arm the approach mode now, and we'll go and slow the aircraft down to get to the flap speed. So we'll go down to 190 and slow the aircraft down and get ready to deploy the flaps. So interestingly, we are on glide slope. I'm not sure how that happened, but this is also part of the G3000 issues that I think we can say. We are going to set the missed approach altitude because now we are on glide slope and missed approach altitude is 4,000, so we will leave it at 4. We slowed down, so we will drop the landing gear down, reduce the speed to 140 knots, and then we will go flaps 50 and then control our speed from there. So that's the airport right in front of us. One thing we haven't set is the minimums, and for this approach the minimums is 210. You can set this over here. Map settings, where is it? Oh, here I have, it's been a while since I used GNS 550. Looks like I'm not gonna get that in place before it's too late. Speed, oh, minimums right here in front of my eyes. 210. Enter. Speed box, landing, all on, and we are good to go. Okay, what else we got left? Before landing checklist. Landing gear, flaps 50. We'll go to 100 knots of approach speed and slow the aircraft down. Okay, cabin altitude differential is coming down. Cabin pressure differential not there quite yet. Windshield IPS switch, windshield IPS ice protection system is coming off. Okay. Autopilot, we will disconnect autopilot momentarily, and airspeed is VREF plus 10, which is 90 knots plus 10, that's 100 knots, that's already set. And we can go full flaps now. And focus on landing the aircraft. Nice. Everything is looking good. And we should be there very shortly. Again, G3000 has some issues, but not a whole lot, so you should be able to landing, flaps set, airspeed, VREF, landing speed will be 90 knots, thrust lever, brakes. All that we will do here in a second. Trying to see the puppies right now, 2 red, 2 white as far as I can tell. 100 knots on the airspeed indicator, coming down to 1000 feet. Radio altitude is reading 860. Slow down to 95 knots now. Still okay, still on the profile. That's glide slope diamond here, localizer, we are aligned. We should be fine. Let's synchronize the heading one more time, hopefully the last time. And there it is. Disconnect the autopilot. Autopilot disconnected. My plane now, and I'm just following the puppies and the glide slope diamond to stay on profile and land the aircraft. Speed is looking good. Drifting to the left a little bit, so let's correct for that. Just a little bit more. Yep, should do. Okay, looking okay. 2 white, 2 red on the puppies. Feel like we are coming a little bit high, but I might be wrong. But sometimes you can't trust the puppies in Microsoft Flight Simulator. That's also a known issue. But coming down very nicely. We're fine. Yeah. Ignore the puppies now because they were not showing okay. If I followed the puppies, we would be landing very late. So let's correct our nose, cut the throttles. We should be down now. There we are. Okay, we are down. Throttles idle. And slow the aircraft down, let it roll until the end of the runway, and we'll find an exit and vacate the runway from there. Is it at the end of the runway? I'm not sure, but there should be one, right? There it is. Let's slow down. Flaps are coming up now, and this is the exit we will take. And gentle, take this higher exit to vacate the runway. There we are. Welcome to Edinburgh, guys. Alright, landing lights are coming off. Okay, let's stop here for a sec. Landing lights are off now. Transponder. We'll go back. That. And we'll go back to standby. Flaps are retracted. And anti systems are off. Strobes now can come off too. And we'll set 10% on the throttle to taxi, or close to 10%, to keep the aircraft moving, and we'll find ourselves a parking spot at the general aviation ramp. That should be towards our left, I believe. Let's get going. There's a little bit of slope here, I guess. Okay, that's better. Easy. And let's take this left to the general aviation apron. Oh, it's... I don't know if it's really snowy in Edinburgh in real life, but looks like we have snow on the ground. That's interesting. Alright. Alright, we'll take it. We'll taxi like this. And second right should be the general aviation area. If I'm not mistaken, I might be wrong. That's the north apron. Oh, GA apron is not here. We need to take this right. Actually, we passed that. Oh, never mind. We'll park somewhere here. I don't need to keep you guys taxiing in the airport to find a parking spot. We'll just come here, find a suitable parking, and park the aircraft right over here. How about the second left parking spot, or maybe here? Let's see. Oh, there was actually a marshaller for us right over there, so we will use that. Why not? So we're a little bit late, but we are still fine. Okay, there's our marshaller. It's an easy. Parking brake is set, and let's continue finishing everything. Alright, chocks. We will put the chocks back in place, and then we'll pull our checklist. And no, we are not doing a go around, so we will skip here. Checklists. We have done the after landing ourselves. So flaps were up, wings, blah blah blah. Prop heat is off. External light, brakes checked. Shutdown, thrust lever idle. It is idle. Engine IPS switch, that is this switch here behind our stick right there. Turn it to off. Engine start stop, and bleed air goes to fresh air. Oxygen master comes off. Let's check these. Lights are off, and we will shut the engine down. And 2 below 24, it is. Cap spin will come in place. Gen 1, Gen 2 off. That is done. Batteries, we will turn them off after letting our passengers out. Let's open our doors and cargo compartment. There is that. Welcome to Edinburgh, guys. Snowy day, I guess, today. That is done. That needle is a little bit jumpy. I'm not sure what's going on with that. Batteries are now off. And that's it. No more option to go through the checklist because we turned our batteries off, but here it is. I hope you guys enjoyed this short video with the, maybe not so short, FFX Vision Jet. This is a very, very nice little jet to fly, and I enjoyed flying it, as I said at the beginning. Let me know what you think about this, and I'll be seeing you in the next video. Thanks for watching.